I am Dr. Tony, and I'm really excited to do this limited series with all of you. It's our small business edition where we're going to be focusing on pulling back the curtain a bit to see some of the faces and some of the humans that are behind the small businesses. I think it's so easy for business to become transactional, and there's a time and a place for that, right? In the business end of things, but behind small businesses are people. And these are people with stories. These are people that benefit from having meaningful connections. And we benefit, I think, from having meaningful connections with them. It helps us to be able to contribute in this world in a more meaningful way. So I'm really passionate about connecting and contributing in a meaningful way, and therefore very excited to do this limited series edition with you all. Today, I have Miss Kate Domanski with us, and she is coming to us from Roofs from the Heart, which is a nonprofit where she's really, actually, you know what, rather than me say it, why don't you say it, Kate? Tell us, what is Roofs from the Heart? And then we're going to dive in to just learn a little bit about you, the person, the human that's behind.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to do this. We are a pretty new nonprofit organization. So, trying to get the word out of what we're trying to do and what our mission is. So Roofs from the Heart is started with a for-profit business. So G. Fidel Roofing and Siding is a local business they're incorporated in Delaware, but they also have offices in Pennsylvania. And several years ago, they just really felt like they had the ability to fill this need, a need that they saw every single day, going out on appointments, serving the community. And the mission is clear of what they wanted to do. We want to put premium new roofs and provide premium new roofs to those who are unable to maintain that basic provision of shelter for their family in order to keep the family in their home and in their community. So we provide new roofs to people. We have a roof giveaway program. We're starting to make a lot of different partnerships with other organizations that do similar things in the community. And we have a history, so if that's something that we would like to talk about, I can kind of tell you how we got started.
All right, awesome. So we'll talk a bit about that history and some of what the real passion is. I think is helpful to know behind providing roofs, because roofs are a big expense, right? I remember years ago I met someone who was in the roofing business, and one of the things that they said was talking about roofs isn't sexy, but it's something that we got to talk about, right? And that's
yes,
for whatever reason, it was something we got to talk about, right? And so if we have a home, we have a roof, and it is a big expense, especially if the whole roof needs to be replaced. We had to replace our roof before we sold our last house. And that was definitely, an expense that we're
it's so expensive, and it's not glamorous. Nobody wants to do it. And a lot of times people unfortunately wait until there's active leaks, and then you're talking about a lot more damage.
So we did that. We definitely.
That was you. You had active leaks. You probably had to replace a bunch of plywood too. It's all rotted out. Yes.
Yes. We live and we learn. We live and we learn. Right. So before we get into the history, around this nonprofit that clearly has a passion connected to it, Kate, can you tell us a little bit about you, a little bit about what drives you, what kind of fills your cup, what you're interested in, just who you are that you think is an important part of what you bring to not just the business, but to the world, to the people that you interact with?
Well, I have been on the for-profit side for the majority of my career. I worked in business development. I worked for a consulting company, had some big accounts. I worked in sales, production, research, development. And then that kind of led towards building franchise and building different businesses and developing from the ground up. And this opportunity, but I've always had a passion for serving. I work with our church. I work with our kids' school. It makes me happy to make other people happy. I really do enjoy it. So this opportunity kind of came to me because G Fidel Roofing and Siding is a family business. My husband actually works, and then all of his cousins, they actually own the company. So they needed somebody to take this nonprofit to the next level. They didn't have any staffing towards it. And when I heard about it, I was like, I would love to get involved in nonprofit. So I started back in September. I interviewed with them, and then I interviewed with an organization that works closely with them, that kind of took Roofs from the Heart under their wing when they really didn't, G Fidel really didn't have any staff. And it's been about 9 months, and I absolutely love what I'm doing. So I'm using those business development skills to kind of get this whole thing up and running. But at the same time, I'm serving the community, and I'm meeting people in these different neighborhoods and through our application program that really need this. And, like you were talking about, you and I and a lot of people that we work with can afford a new roof, and it's inconvenient and it's stressful and it's a financial burden. But for the people that I'm meeting and that we're serving and we're impacting, it's truly life-changing for them. So for me to be a part of that is just incredible. And I'm really happy to be working in this nonprofit world.
And it's something people don't think about. I remember when I worked in the schools, I did school social work and support for a while, for many years. And we would sometimes run into that challenge of a family that they needed to have a new roof, but they didn't have the funds. And I remember bumping into a lot of barriers to get them connected with resources. So it's really great that this resource exists, because we're not thinking about it, but there really are so many benefits from having a nonprofit that exclusively is focusing this area, right? Like you are exclusively supporting this need, which allows you then to support this need in a greater way than other resources that maybe are trying to cover a ton of bases. I mean, they're stretched in so many ways. So it frees up some of those resources, I think, too. And it adds some more balance.
Yeah, we really do. Staying in our lane and sticking to roofs is really important, because it's gonna we can make that much more impact, because there's a lot of different organizations that do like whole house emergency repair, but a lot of time the funding comes short. So we can come in and just do roofs and fill that gap and stay specifically and do that repair. So
yeah, and I feel like we could probably talk forever about all of the weeds that go into like the behind the scenes of how you're getting all of this to happen and all the business end of things. But instead, what I want us to focus on a little bit here is, again, connecting with you. You mentioned that you have a heart for service. You mentioned about family. And so what is it, do you think, like, is there some kind of roots or experiences you had throughout your upbringing or your life that really made service and family become the cornerstone, not just of your personal life, but also your professional?
Well, my family is very close, and they've always had a philanthropic heart, which they kind of instilled in me. But I have been so privileged. I actually haven't had any time in my life where I needed someone else. I've been given so much. So I just really recognize meeting people who haven't been giving those different opportunities, that I want to help them get to that level where they feel good and they feel confident, and maybe they can turn around and they can serve others as well. I feel like I've been given the lottery ticket of life. So I want to give back.
That's beautiful. I appreciate you saying that, because sometimes I hear, especially from folks that I work with, they tend to be like really driven, ambitious, like high functioning, doing a lot of things. And they can tend to feel like give from guilt and not realize it. They're like, I feel guilty that I am privileged in this way, or that I have this much. And it's like they're giving from guilt, and then they actually don't wind up feeling fulfilled like they thought they would. But like I'm giving because I should feel grateful for what I have, but really they're giving because they feel guilty for that feeling, right? And so it's like this vicious cycle that happens in the background. But what I hear you saying is, this isn't you giving out of feeling guilt. It's not pity. It's not any of that. It's like, no, I do feel authentically, genuinely blessed, and I'm giving from that overpour. Like I'm giving from that place of abundance. I'm giving from that sense of like, I actually do feel appreciation for my life. And also because of that, like this is inspiring for me. It's not Because I think
Yeah, I do. I don't feel guilty because I feel like I work really hard. Now, I've been given a lot of things, but everything that I've been given, I've run with. I worked really hard to get where I've been. So I want to help other people recognize that with hard work and determination and confidence and resources, other people's help, I think it's okay to accept help, and that's going to help you get even further. So I don't feel guilty. I feel like I've really worked hard to get where I am, and I can help others do the same thing.
I love that. I love that. Giving and those who are like tuning in again, because I know I tend to attract a lot of folks who like who give and push. And maybe you have interacted with them as well, and maybe they'll wind up being some of your people who help fund, right? To give from a place of overabundance, to give from a place where you're like, this feels good. This feels like it's feeling my passion, not like obligation or because I showed it because out of guilt. Like it's a different experience. And seeing here living proof of someone that's like doing that and enjoying that and experiencing that, then you get to experience and enjoy your life and your professional life, right? Like you get to do
Right.
both. You can have
Well,
both.
it's eye-opening too, of just like what we take advantage of. I mean, just education alone. I look with a lot of people that I meet and a lot of people who apply for our program, they call me and they don't have the technology available to them to be able to fill out our online application. And like just having a computer and being able to go on and fill this out or shop for this or do this, like people take advantage of that. There's a lot of people who don't have the ability to be able to even fill out an application because they cannot afford a new roof. So it's just it's eye-opening. And I tell them, I said, just call me. I will fill out the application for you. I'm blessed with a computer. Not many people are, and I think people take advantage of our everyday technology and the things that we have every day in our lives and just going to school and being able to a lot of people don't have those opportunities. And it's one of the reasons why they're in this spot now. So let's try to change that. Let's try to get into these communities and offer them education, a lot of people don't even know these programs exist. So just being able to educate and getting out there and spreading the word for this program is pretty important.
Yeah, I know I have many social workers, teachers, folks that are on the front lines of seeing things like this, these needs in the schools and in the community. So if any of you are tuning in, Kate, what is the best email? And we'll offer more at the end too about how to contact you, but what would be the email, or what would be the best way for them to reach out to you?
So my email is Kate, Kate at roofsfromtheheart.org. And that's our site too. So you can check out roofsfromtheheart.org and our program, and you can nominate people on there as well as donate to the program. So it's Kate at roofsfromtheheart.org.
Awesome. Yeah, because I mean, it's one thing for us to be willing to work hard. It's another thing if we don't have access or awareness of the resources that are out there, right? Like we can work hard, we can work our butts off. And also, if there's not this awareness of what's available to us, or there's just not access to it, then there's a piece there that's missing. So when you have someone that's giving from a place of overflow like Kate, there's a resource available there for us to be able to support one another and again, meaningfully connect so that we can all meaningfully contribute in a way that's helpful for each of us. So I really appreciate that.
And we're working with a lot of different organizations that don't, when you look at it, it doesn't appear like we could connect or link, but there really is, just we meet with a lot of healthcare companies because they're like, oh, well, housing, it's not really one of our pillars, but it is because of all of the healthy homes that we can help create. And it's part of that social determinants. Having a roof over your head is just as important as the foundation and everything in between. So a lot of people that apply for our program have health concerns. So there's many different organizations that we're working with that it doesn't seem like it would be an obvious connection, but it is. So if there is any interest, please reach out.
Absolutely. And then you shared also that there's some history there that you would like to share. So tell me a little bit about that history behind Roofs from the Heart that you feel like would be helpful for people to hear from you.
Sure. So G Fidel Roofing and Siding starting this several years ago, and they immediately, called it Roofs from the Heart. But as the story goes, Adam Fidel, who is now the CEO of the company, he was a sales rep back at the time, and he had got called out to it was labeled as a roof leak. And he pulled up to the home, and it was very clear from just the outside of the home that it was much more than just a roof leak. So he went in and he met this gentleman who happened to be a disabled veteran. And the gentleman took him back to his bedroom, which was the worst part of where the damage was. And his ceiling on the inside of the home was actually like concave from the damage. And there was leaking, and there was actually like mold and debris and everything in his room on the floor. And Adam turned around, and this gentleman was just had his head in his hands. And he said, I know it's bad. And I don't know what to do. So Adam left there, and he's like, there's no way that we need to help this gentleman. This guy, he served our country. He's obviously a wonderful member of our community. He was older. So we need to be able to help him. And that's kind of what spurred it, because they meet people who need help every day in their work. So G Fidel ended up putting on not only a full roof replacement for this gentleman, but they fixed all the damage on the inside of his home. And then they tried to do that on a consistent basis. So they just had, small social media campaigns through like friends and family networking. They accepted applications, and the company, took on those costs and everything themselves. And it was just a really wonderful program. And then about 18 months ago, they met a really wonderful organization called Energize Delaware. And this is for the state of Delaware, but we're actually trying to find a program similar in Pennsylvania so we can grow it. But what Energize Delaware does is they offer renewable and energy efficient programs for Delawareans in order to reduce their carbon footprint. So they then decided to take Roofs from the Heart under their wing, and they kind of gave our roof giveaway program a boost. So now when people were applying for the roof giveaway program, not only are they getting a full roof replacement, but Energize Delaware is going on the inside of the home, and they're giving them a full energy assessment of their home. So they're looking at HVAC, water heaters, insulation, and they're prioritizing those energy needs and upgrades for that homeowner. And then we're able to build that into the budget and give them some energy upgrades on the inside of the home as well. So that's really exciting that it started so small. And now we're here, and we're partnered with these awesome organizations who are helping us match funds. They're helping us be more streamlined, and they're offering energy boosts and more weatherization upgrades for the winners of the program.
Oh, so you really have a whole team, right, supporting these efforts. And you're, like you said, you're staying in your lane, but you also have additional resources that you're able to pull upon to help kind of deepen your impact here and deepen your support.
Because they go hand in hand. I mean, if you think about it, so in a lot of these, there's 4 general conditions that are often present with substandard housing, and being, 9 times out of 10, if the roof is failing, there's other things in the home that also need a lot of help in order to help those health conditions and energy efficiencies on the inside of the home. So the partners that we're making really do make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're running the nonprofit, you have a heart of service, and you mentioned family. So you said your kids are in school?
Mm-hmm.
How do you tend to juggle parenting and marriage and running the business kind of a little bit from the ground up from the division that you're in, right? How do you tend to navigate that?
I have no idea.
A lot of folks out there that they ask me that question all the time, so I'd like to.
I have no idea how I figure it all out. My husband is extremely helpful. We share responsibilities, so we both work. We both work with the kids. We both travel with the kids. We both handle the home inside and out. So my partnership with my husband is pretty wonderful. Time management. I am so lucky that I'm able to work from home, and that is a huge bonus. I'm able to be more efficient, I feel like, with my job and with keeping the house too. So that really helps. I do travel quite a bit with Roofs from the Heart, just because we do a lot of work in Delaware. But because of my family and a lot of support from my mother as well, who's able to help with the kids. So family and work are very much intertwined.
It sounds like it. I mean, use the word partnership, right? And so the partnership with your husband, but also with the rest of your family, like it extends out to the rest of your family. It sounds like you truly do value having family kind of be at this epicenter of
Mhm.
not just the work you're doing, but the lifestyle that you're living. And that your husband is on the same page with that. So you and the business and him, like all of you are really honoring family. And I think one of the reasons that I want to share that and point that out here is that when you are choosing a business to work with, you're also choosing people to invest in, kind of, right? Like the people behind the business, like you're wanting quality service and product, with whatever you're purchasing, but you also want to know the quality of the character of the folks that are running that business. And it sounds to me like what you're sharing here is that you all really value a high level of quality in showing up and honoring yourselves, your family, and reflecting that out, right? Like in the work and interactions, the connections and the contributions, I like to say, right, that you have in the world.
100%. I
Yeah.
could not do it without my family. I know that.
So you're offering help, you're extending resources, but you're also willing to ask for help and accept resources, which is a really healthy, right, exchange. And
Mhm.
that can be hard for us. I know it was hard for me for a long time to ask for or receive any
Yeah.
help. I think that that's a beautiful example to set for so many people. So as we come to a close here, I want to do two things. My way of connecting and contributing meaningfully is to offer my supports and mentorship, education, coaching, and things like that. So I'm going to have you share with me an area of challenge or struggle that you would like me to support you with in these last few minutes together. And then I'll offer you to share any piece that you want to share with the audience about connecting with you, your business or resources or anything like that.
Sure.
Sound all right, cool. Where would you like to start? What kind of challenge are you?
So I think there's so many, but not really. So right now we are very much focused in the state of Delaware, but one of our goals is to extend everything that we do into the state of Pennsylvania, which is, where I met you and through our networking group. So I'm looking for not just people who are philanthropic in nature to care and look into and possibly invest in Roofs from the Heart, but I'm also looking for other connections with different nonprofit organizations. We are looking for an energy efficiency company to be able to partner with to kind of do the same thing. We're also looking at people who could benefit from our program within the state of Pennsylvania too. So, we're working on different community development projects in Delaware, and eventually I'd love to work on different community projects and development here in communities in need in Pennsylvania, specifically Montgomery County and Bucks County. So if there's anybody who has any of these connections, whether it's people who are in need or people who would like to be a part of the housing initiative that we're trying to get into Pennsylvania, I would just love connections. That's what part of my job is. I talk to people a lot. I meet new people within different industries to see how we could connect, how we can help each other, because it's not just about us and what we need. We are a service organization. We want to help other organizations who are trying to be out in the community and develop initiatives there as well.
Okay, so that doesn't really need any coaching to it, but I do have several thoughts of connections that may be helpful to you. So pastors in churches, and I'll tag these folks so that they can listen in. Pastors in churches, because they have a lot of connections in the church, but also in the community. As I shared earlier, several school social workers that I've worked with in the past, I can tag them as well. And also, you said something about energy. I do know someone that works in the energy field that I can tag as well. So I will share this video with them and tag them in this so that they're able to have access to everything you've shared here. And there's a couple other names that are coming up as I'm thinking too. So I can definitely make those connections, those introductions
Thank you.
for you. I'd be happy to do that. And if a coaching question does come up, you know how to reach me. So you can just reach out and you can let me know.
I appreciate that, Dr. Tony. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Is there any last things, resources, ways to contact you, things you'd like the audience to know?
No, just please check out our site, just to kind of get a good idea of what we do and who we're helping at rosefromtheheart.org. And feel free to reach out and email me at kate@rosefromtheheart.org.
Awesome. Thank you everyone so much for hanging out with us today. I'm going to really encourage you to, if you think of connections, to also tag them or share this video with them. What's going to happen with this video now is that it's going to stay up on my newsfeed for about 24 hours. And then it's going to be taken down. It's going to be moved to my YouTube channel so that that link can be shared, made public for whomever is going to best benefit from it. So I will share that link as well once it is up and live on the YouTube channel. And what you can do is you can share that link, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you'll get notifications of additional lives that we're going to do. We have 10 set up for this limited series of small businesses so that we can all meaningfully connect and meaningfully contribute in the ways that we all uniquely can and the ways that we all really truly want to, right? Like we all want to feel meaningfully connected. We all want to feel like we're meaningfully contributing in some way. And that's what this series is all about. So thank you, everyone. Please go ahead and tag, share, whatever works best for you. Thank you so much, Kate, for being here.
Thank you so much. It was fun. Have a good one.
See you later.